Okay, hi, it's Mambition, and here's Alex
Yeah.
and
Tiffany.
we're on a roll. We've done 2 episodes. We're going to
Yes,
do a third, and this is going to
winning.
be a mini-sode. So, in line with International Women's Day, which is going to happen on Friday, Tiffany's going to tell us about the theme.
Yes. So, happy International Women's Day. And this year's theme is Invest in Women, Accelerate Progress.
So we decided we'd do a really quick and dirty 10 ways to invest in yourself as a mother, where we really want to empower women, and we want to come to you and say self-care isn't selfish. Celebrate yourself. And we just want to say this isn't about spending money. We've really tried to make sure that most of these things are free or like low cost, but are really things you can do to invest in yourself, to make yourself feel good, and to give yourself that time that we're often lacking. So, who's
Yes.
kicking it off, you or me?
I'll let you kick it off, Alex. Yes, Alex,
Okay.
hit the floor. Woohoo, Alex.
Thank you. Okay, so reading. I love to read. I like to take the time to read. I like to do it in the morning before my son wakes up. I've made a real effort to read more over the last couple of years, but for a good 2 years after having Ted, probably longer than that, I could only manage audiobooks. So I think part of this self-care list is doing some of these things that make you feel good, but do what you've got bandwidth for. I used to think an audiobook was cheating, and now I love an audiobook. I'm reading as well, like physically reading, but why not? An audiobook is a really great option if you just feel like you want to lie in bed and do it. You haven't got the bandwidth. So that's my number one.
I like that, Alex. That's a good one as well. Yeah, and I think you're right, because the thing you don't have time for when you become a mom is yourself. And reading is about self-education, really, isn't it? If you improve yourself and you improve the person that you are, that's always going to pay off. It's always a good thing. So yeah. I mean, I don't read as much as I would like to, but I'm the same as you. I think recently a lot of my education has come from podcasts, if I'm being perfectly honest. I do read a couple of audiobooks as well, but I can't remember the last time I read a physical book, just because
Yeah.
again, time. But
it's the kids. Blame them.
the kids. But yeah, reading is it's key. It's key to always educate yourself and keep growing as a person. Right. So number 2 tip is for me, it's getting outside. Ways to invest in yourself is to get outside. Now, I've always been, more leaning towards exercise and fitness. So maybe it comes more natural to me to want to get out and do something physical with the kids. But I would encourage any mom, especially a new mom, to try and get outside. I know that in that initial phase of having a child, it's really like your body's changed, you're a bit tired, can't be bothered. There's a lot of effort getting out as well. So I remember, like, when my son was born, it probably took me about an hour just to get us both ready and out of the house. But it's good for you. I'm fresh air, being outside, it boosts your confidence, getting some sort of exercise like walking. And it's just good for your mental health, because if you're indoors all the time, that sort of 4 walls, it's a bit intense, it's too much, and it can be a little bit actually damaging to your mental health. So yeah, I'd encourage, just get out, go for a walk, make it simple, 5 minutes, just don't overthink it. Just get out of the house. That's it.
And bonus, if you take the kids, it calms them down as well.
Definitely.
Okay, so I did say my number 2. I did say that these were going to be free or low cost. I love to have a massage. This is the only one I'm going to talk about spending money. After I had Ted, my body really needed it, and I've kind of got into the habit of when I feel like I need to treat myself, I go and do that. And I feel like a new woman once I've been for a massage. We've got a really great place just around the corner from us, but that is the only one. And yeah, it's not free, but that is one of the things I like to make if I can stretch money to that, then I will. I'm not above making Ted rub my back with one of those little wooden roller things, though, as well.
Gotta get the kids in. You gotta get them working. I love that. I don't actually have anything to say about massage. I know I'm probably quite boring in that sense, but I appreciate a massage. But I can't. If I'm being honest, I can't say, oh, it's something that I value, or do you know what I mean? I'm
Oh,
just not
really?
like, yeah, I'm not like that. I know.
No, I'm not judging. I just love it so much.
Oh, but that's great. But yeah, no, I can't say anything about massage. I'm afraid. Sorry, guys.
Okay,
Um,
well, I recommend. It's like super relaxing, and I've now got past the point where I'm so tired I'm gonna fall asleep while they're doing it. I just enjoy the whole thing.
it does sound amazing, though. It does sound amazing. But my second tip would be to connect with other mums. Now, I've been quite fortunate. I mean, we'll go into this another time in terms of our support networks and lives and that, but I've been fortunate because, you know, as sort of backstory, even when we moved from London back well, not back to, but when we moved from London to the Northeast, my husband already had a really amazing network of friends and family, which actually is where Alex comes from. So I've stolen Alex from him. She's my friend. But yeah, so I've got a great network of friends and family in that way, but I do think it's important as a mum to reach out to other mums, just because you are going through this shared experience. I think when you first have a child and everything, it's all very new and it can be a little bit overwhelming, but there are other mums that are going through the same. So, you know, there's certain things you can say to them and they're like, oh, they just get it. They just say things like, yeah, they get it. And I find that in a park. I find that at, you know, baby groups, and I would really encourage anyone to do that. You know, go to any baby groups, go to the park, talk to other people, just say something about their child, make a comment. I know it's hard, especially if you're not very confident or anything, but you can build that muscle of talking to people, and it's so important because it will mean that you can make other mummy friends. And not only that, but it's just nice to talk to people, and it's good for your mental health to just reach out to other people and have that communication, and your child is not the only person maybe you're speaking to in the course of the day.
Yeah. I mean, I totally agree with that. And I think we were thinking that we would talk about building your own networks and support systems in our next episode. But I would definitely say that I try and text like at least one person a day. I don't suffer from being shy.
No way.
Yeah, so I like to talk to people. I'll talk to anyone, but I still work on the thing of taking the time to reach out to people. We're really busy, so I try and make it a thing to just text at least one person a day, and just see how they're doing. And actually, you've inspired me to start doing voice notes. I sent my cousin one today, because Tiffany is the queen of the voice note, and I've never really done them before, but I like them. They are time saving and they sound so friendly as well. So yeah, send someone a voice note.
Yeah, no, I need it. I mean, I've got 2 kids, so it's like I'd never have a spare hand. And if anyone's waiting for me to physically text back, it might be a little while. So yeah, I just, you know, you got to use whatever is around you, really.
Definitely. And I think that this one's kind of related. So this is my number 3. I think we've mucked up the numbering system a little bit, but that's fine. We'll roll with it. Asking people for help. So I've got in my notes here, friends, family, even your children. And I don't mean that in a sinister way of asking your children for help, but you know, even stuff in the morning, like
help me, please.
I say to Ted, what do we do first when we get up in the morning? And he helps me make the bed, which is pretty cute. But I'm not saying he's a great helper yet. He likes to think he is, but I'm trying to train him up so that it's not all on me. And I think asking for help when you need it from your friends and your family is really important, but also not conditioning your children to expect you to do everything for them. So helping them to kind of learn to be independent as they're, you know, from being small.
Wow, that's such I like your perspective on teaching them that maybe mommy doesn't do everything, you know, they can do it and they can help you. And that's young, really, doesn't it? Because it then becomes natural. On that helping thing, I will say as well that some people struggle to ask for help, because I think sometimes, you know, you want to be your own sort of hero. And listen, that's great, but when you have kids, it's an African proverb: it takes a village to raise a child. And I've seen that, you know, I've seen that we need help. We need to ask people, and it's not a sign of strength to suffer in silence. I'll say that again. It's not a sign of strength to suffer in silence. If you need someone to help you, just ask. And the worst they can say is no, but it's okay to just admit that you can't do it by yourself. And if there are friends and family around, just speak to them and see if anyone can lend a hand. And yeah, it takes the pressure off you a bit. Right. So for my next number 3 is forgive yourself. Man, this is deep, but we won't get into we won't get into this is fun. This is an episode all by itself. But I think as you know, I really think as a mother, our experiences and our childhood experiences and our world experiences, it really, because we're so emotionally and physically close to our children, we do pass off our energy to them. That's what I believe. And you know, when we kind of carry along a lot of burdens of maybe things we've done in the past, and we cannot forgive of ourselves, I think it does weigh us down, and it does affect our relationship with ourselves, with in time will affect our relationship with our children. So yeah, just learn to be a bit more forgiving. We forgive other people so easily, but we don't forgive ourselves, and we're hard on ourselves. I think women naturally are a lot more harder on themselves because maybe, I don't know, there's so many like layers to it, but just learn to let go of things that maybe you've done in the past that you can't forgive yourself for, and just learn to accept that you make mistakes, laugh at yourself. I mean, I've done things when I won't even share, but yeah, I just had to laugh, and I was like, that's silly and that's dumb, but I'm gonna laugh at myself, and I'm just gonna be a bit more light-hearted. And I think it gives you a bit more of a you go through life with so much joy when you can do that. What do you think?
Yeah. No, definitely. And I think, you know, people talk about mum guilt all the time, but it is a real thing. And I think if you listen to some of the things that if one of your friends was saying the stuff that you say mentally when you're kind of beating yourself up about things, you'd be really like, you'd be shocked, and you would kind of be telling them they shouldn't talk to themselves that way. You know, you wouldn't let somebody else speak to your friend like that. So I think you do have to really take that kind of approach yourself and really think, would I say this to someone else? No, I wouldn't. So I need to kind of give myself a bit of grace.
Love that.
Okay, here's a big one. Social media.
Dum dum dum.
So basically, quite an easy one. Don't compare yourself to other people. Comparison is the thief of joy. You're just seeing the best bits. You're seeing the edited highlights. That's not their real life. Unfollow things that don't make you feel good, or even worse than that, actively make you feel bad. You don't have to see it. You know, I think really time away from social media can be helpful, but you don't even have to go on full on I'm leaving a particular social media. Just follow things that make you feel happy, that inspire you. Don't hate follow things and angrily scroll. That's not good for your soul, is it?
No,
So,
but that's my favorite thing to do.
I mean, we all secretly have the people that we want to look at. No. But yeah. I think it is an important one, and I think it's one that's easily forgotten. And I think particularly if you're feeling bad, then if you're feeling bad about something, then you're kind of seeing all of the fake positivity and fake great things that people are putting out there. And that can make you feel like your life's sort of subpar, or, you know, you're not achieving what other people are doing. And actually, you have no idea, really. Social media isn't real life. And I think just trying to follow things that make you happy is the really important thing.
Oh, that's an amazing one, and it's so relevant. Yeah, I used to be like that on social media. So many years ago, I used to follow a lot of women who are, well, I thought were successful. They had all these incredible Hermes bags, and you know, their husbands were so rich, and it was. But over time, you're saying, why is it okay to just be so obsessed about what other people are up to? And
Yeah.
and now I use social media in so much more of a useful way. Social media is an incredibly useful platform, but again, it can play with your perception of reality, as Alex has said, and you're comparing yourself to people's very kind of edited and very selective elements. You don't know what's really happening. And if we can, what I've found over the years is I just want to lean into my life. Like if there's something I don't like about my life, how can I do something about it, rather than using social media as a way to make myself feel better, or to feel better just because I'm watching other people. But yeah, it's a deeper topic, but yeah, it's definitely a useful tip. My number 4 is to implement a practice. Now, what I mean by that is, implement something into your life that allows you to have a moment to yourself. So it could be exercise, could be journal, could be meditation. Now I know, again, one thing you don't have as a mom is time. I do get that. Hence why I'm not saying you should meditate until you can levitate or you can kind of, but I think it's so important to do something that just gives you that bit of a mental space and break. And I found that meditation really works for me. Something I do try to practice every day. And I will be truthful and say most days this is not possible, because some days I just go from chaos to work and I don't have that space to have a moment to myself. But another tip I would give is that when it comes to meditation and journaling, if there are days when you cannot successfully do it, don't allow that to ruin your day. I don't see journaling or meditation as, if I don't do it, I'm going to have a bad day. I say as, I couldn't do it today, but it's okay anyway, because I'm going to smash it today. So just a little tip to keep that balance, because again, you don't have a lot of time.
That's a nice one. I try and think of 3 things each day that they don't even have to be big things. It can be like, I enjoyed my tea tonight. 3 things that I'm really grateful for or enjoyed. And I just do that as I'm falling to sleep. And that's my thing.
Amazing.
I like it. So my last one is have a bath. And I mean by this, a relaxing one. I mean, this is, some people don't like a bath, but if you do a deep, relaxing bath with bubbles and, maybe listen to something, maybe a candle, really push the boat out. But I just want, this is a short one. I just want to say, showering isn't self-care. And I do think that if it's like a, if some people love a shower, but I feel like if it's just the bare minimum wash, I definitely thought when I was first sort of having Ted that I would escape for 10 minutes and frantically wash myself because I hadn't had a shower in days, because I couldn't leave him. And I'd come back and Eddie would sort of treat me as though maybe I would be a new whole person. Be like, I've literally had a shower. This is not self-care. This is bare minimum. I don't smell anymore. So that's where I'm coming from. So just whoever needs to hear that, if your partner thinks that you've been for a shower for 5 minutes, it's no, that is the bare minimum. That is what I need to do to be a functioning human. It's not self-care. That we're talking about actually treating yourself and taking the time to, make yourself feel better and giving yourself that mental space. And I said it'd be quick there, but I wasn't.
Wow, that's all I can say to that one is wow. My final tip is to work on your confidence. Wow, again, I just think as we go on this journey of being mothers, we are impacting our children. They are looking to us for so much. And I think it's so important for us to continue to work on our confidence and our ability to thrive in the world and ask for what we want and to be happier and to do things that matter. And as you work on your confidence, those are things that become natural to you. So, because I think as you go through motherhood and having a child, we do lose a bit of confidence because our body changes, it's inevitable. And you're now, again, low on time, or again, you wouldn't have time for showers. You just put so much into your child and not yourself. So it's important to proactively go after things that will make you feel better and feel good about yourself, because that's how you will show up in the world. When you have that confidence, you have that sort of sense of optimism about who you are.
Yeah, I like it. I tend to be quite a confident person, but I think there's always room for improvement. You can always kind of push forward. And I think anything that you can do to work on that, and for me, I like to think kind of try and feel the fear and do it anyway. And that inevitably increases your confidence, because then you're like, that wasn't as bad as I thought. And then the next time things are easier. So do things that challenge you a bit. And that does help you to build that kind of, I think you were calling it confidence muscle, but it's a good one.
Yeah. Okay. Amazing.
Okay. Well, we were slightly over in terms of how long we said we'd take for that, but I think pretty good. So if you want more of this sort of thing, I definitely recommend Liz Moody's podcast. So it's just called the Liz Moody Podcast. And she's also got a book called 100 Ways to Change Your Life. And they're all tiny little ways to kind of make improvements in your life and do some of the self-care stuff. So that would be my recommendation for today.
Amazing. And to close that out, I'll also say, I know International Women's Day is about investing in women, but again, we are women too as mothers, so invest in yourself. There's a quote that says you have to first put on your gas mask before you can save others. And I think especially as a mother, whatever you pour into yourself, you also pour into your children. So by investing in yourself and looking after yourself, you then have more in your cup to provide for your children and be, the best that you can be. So yeah, thanks for joining us for this one. Woohoo!
Thanks. Bye.
Bye.